Hey, gang. It's Wednesday, September 25th. Helene is on the way. If you're in the southeast where I'm at, Gulf Coast of Florida, my particular area is going to see some storm surge by pretty much should be over by this time Friday. My latest reports, we'll get to that later. It's 11:02, 99.1 WDJY, America1Radio.com, both in Atlanta. The Tampa stations have the day off today. They're only with us Friday, unfortunately. We're working on that, and that's growing. We're just not finished yet. The UG.Media, serving London and the entire UK and beyond. Of course, it's internet. Rainbow Radio, Yerg's Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff.Media network. Today, I'm going to tell you about a little experience I had last night. Not the best. I love helping people. Not because it's like my ego and you got to listen to me. Don't listen to me. I don't care. And in fact, what do I tell you? I tell you, my listeners on this show and viewers and wherever else. Oh, speaking of which, there we go. Hello, viewers. We weren't, I didn't switch over the camera. I love helping people, especially people who are humble enough to accept it when it's offered. And there is this one, I'm not going to name the name yet. I don't think. No, I'm not going to name the name yet just because I'm going to talk bad about it today. Honestly, but negatively. I'm on this one particular social audio app. Now, if social audio is a new word for you, you're like, what is it's social media? It's a social media platform that specializes in verbal communication. You might have heard of Twitter Spaces, where it's essentially bringing back the chat room from the late 80s, early 90s, into the 90s maybe, where you call a number, the party line. That's what it is. It's a social media-based party line. But the person who puts it together has control of it. He can label people co-hosts who can do certain things administratively to the room. Moderators aren't quite as powerful as a co-host. But a co-host can mute somebody in the middle of them talking. There are different levels of the room. You can be up on stage where you have the power to talk. You can be in the audience where you do not have, all you do is listen. I didn't do it today. As you know, Helene is on her way, and there's just too much to. I broadcast to this and one other social audio platform. Neither of them have a decent desktop version yet. The one had one. It was a third-party application. It wasn't theirs. Somebody else did it for them. And whether it was legal or what, but it was launched. It was working. I used it. It doesn't work anymore. I've uninstalled it, reinstalled it 2 or 3 times. It's not happening. Well, this other one that I'd been supporting, because it's in what's called beta, which means it's not even released yet. It's a test. And it's out. It's been out there in that testing phase. So most people don't even know about it yet. The social media gurus of sort. The people who do know about it are the people on the other app because they don't like each other. Think Threads versus Truth Social. And I like what this second one is trying to do. Bunch of young folks running it. Smart people. Not going to take that away from them at all. But the organizational space for a 28-year-old to call himself a CEO, yeah. Let's just leave it at entrepreneur, creative, something a little bit more trendy, a little less ego driven, and let yourself show productivity before telling people you're a CEO. I have been begging for their desktop version, which is now also in beta. I think they call it Studio, whatever Studio. And this one guy who was moderating and owning the room last night knows that this 28-year-old CEO very well. Another young lady that's always a co-host and is part of the company, doing orientations and such to us beta testers, also said, yes, she'll help me get to Nelson, this 28-year-old CEO, to get me the beta of the desktop. That was 3 months ago, about 2 weeks after I got onto the app in the first place. Earlier this week, actually over the weekend, I meet this other gentleman who is finally somebody out of this group actually squared away. Don't think he finished high school. I get that vibe because he went to a religious institution where he did not exactly jive. So we never heard that before, right? And yeah, I'm getting on, because this is actually part of the story and not part of the introduction. So last night was not fun. It was not cool. Speaking of cool, I lost mine multiple times, as this one particular group affords me the opportunity to do on a regular basis. And it's just not, that's what we're going to talk about today, is stuff like that. When you want to help and when you see an opportunity and when you see potential, but some of the other people are dragging it down, at what point do you say peace out? So hang on for that. We've also got an update on Hurricane Helene and how that's going to affect the Mastiff.Media schedule. Wait out to the end for today's motivation. It's Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron. And yes, it is relevant to the story about the social media. But first, Pierre's pot. You know who Pierre is by now. The recipient of today's pot is WFLA in Tampa, especially those JB Bueno, Rebecca. Now, of course, I'm brain farting on all the other names of the meteorologists there. But JB Bueno put together WFLA's internet presence, particularly the live streaming, and how that can be brought forth when the network is on another show. You can still get maybe not major news, but still get actual news out in a timely manner. One of the things they do with that is the weather. It's Florida, after all. We have these little things in the summer called hurricanes. And yeah, that's kind of an important thing to learn about. And learn I did in the almost 3 years now that I've lived here in the Tampa area. These guys have taught me about hurricanes. I think I could give a weather report. Seriously. Well, Pierre's pot is in honor of Pierre Robert of 93.3 WMMR in Philadelphia, a radio presenter hero of mine who's been there since 1981 when he moved to Philly from San Francisco. He has a thing where the verbiage he uses, I don't know what the name of the bit is, but he does this thing called a toast of the morning sauce, which of course is coffee. Don't quit your daydream is today's coffee mug. And he does that toast in the direction or to a good citizen, as he calls them, the listeners of Philadelphia. And that honored listener for us is, as I said, WFLA. Job to the Tampa Bay, Nature Coast, and Manatee counties and points south and even inland on informing us about, teaching us about, and keeping us up to date on any major weather, but particularly hurricanes. So today's Toast of the Morning Sauce to WFLA. Thank you, everybody there, JB Bueno and company. This is for you. And another good cup of coffee, too. Don't mind saying. I got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about more about this social. I keep wanting to say the name because I've actually got it in my notes, but we're not going to use that. Trying to delete it now. Well, anyway, I'll do that during the commercial. Oh, there it goes. I'll do that during the commercial, but it's gone. 99.1 WDJY and the rest of the Mastiff.Media network. You're going up the middle. I'm Jurgs. We'll be back after these words.
Do you have a podcast? Of course you do. It's probably one of the reasons why you listen to us. Well, I got something for you. Flowsend.ai. All you do is take your pre-recorded data, click, drag, and drop right into the inbox for Flowsend AI. Click a button, and out comes everything that you're going to need. From the transcript to content, such as keywords, titles for your episode, the timeline, posts for LinkedIn, posts for Twitter, Instagram, other smaller platforms, all the things that it takes you hours to do in literally minutes. So go to flowsend.ai. Tell them Jurg sent you and get your subscription today. Worth every penny. Flowsend.ai.
Smell nasty. Do you want to freshen it up a little bit? Go to aromabypeter.com. Check out all of Peter's candles. It's what we burn here in Studio Jurgs. I'm burning right now leather scented candle. That's right, leather scented. So go to aromabypeter.com/Jurgs and check out his candles today.
I'm Jane Stahl, retired English teacher, and with my BFF, Susan Bebeck, we manage Studio B Fine Art Gallery in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. We showcase the art of hundreds of local artists, publish books of the poetry, prose, and art of local writers, offer classes, art parties, workshops, discussion groups, cater dinners. We've even hosted a wedding. And we're here to be the go-to place for friendship, learning, and fun in our community. Virtual tours of our exhibits are available right here on Jurgs Radio. Let us introduce you to some amazing art and artists.
Check out Jane Stahl and everyone at Studio B in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Please visit our YouTube channel, Talk TV 24. How's your website doing? I'll tell you how mine's doing. It's awesome. Jurgs.com is gotta be the best website for anybody in podcasting or any sort of broadcast solo journalist like me. How did I get that? Limit Break Digital. Limit Break Digital did my website with Jurgs.com. They did JurgerGroup.com. They take care of my marketing, my branding, and help me get the message out to you. Go to limitbreakdigital.com/Jurgs for 10% off your next project. That's a $3,000 site, Jurgs.com.
And you can get 10% off that by just going to limitbreakdigital.com/yergs today. Talk to Jay. That's my guy. We all got a guy, and Jay's mine. limitbreakdigital.com. Hey.
All right, so I'm doing some checks here, and like nothing is working. This is scary. I'm wondering if it is. I don't know if we just lost Wi-Fi, or if I lost internet somewhere, or I don't know. This is the hell that's my life. Like I just okay, well there's that. I'm wondering if it's my phone service, if that's something happened with that now too.
This is law in time for the vote in November. Now, normally I would say, well, yeah.
Why aren't we on? And I thought we were on every day. And
but the former
okay, well, we're not on in America One Radio. I thought we were on every day there. Get rid of that one. I thought we were on every day. That's there. Yeah, it's only 20 minutes into it. We should be. Oh, don't get this. I got to figure out what's going on there. Awesome. Not. And I had these in like tabs where it goes right to the player, but the players weren't playing. Okay, so we're still on DJY in Atlanta. So we still got somebody in Atlanta, and that's the bigger station. Yeah, because I don't have enough to do today. Oh. Peninsula beds and cocktails. That's what I need right now. A bed and a cocktail. Lots of them. They are a hotel down in Gulfport, down on like the peninsula with St. Pete and Pinellas Park and Indian Rocks and that whole area. I almost bought the place when it was the Peninsula Inn, right before I moved here. That's what brought me to this area. Was getting into hospitality, and I guess I'm glad I didn't buy there, huh? But was getting into hospitality, and it's still an option. I still own a place in Belize. Yeah, it could come to fruition someday, but I was in the process of buying this location, and all I'm going to say is it didn't work out. We had to pull out, and we're not a part of it. But this group of folks that came in that did buy it is doing an amazing job with it. Go to, I got to pull it up quick because I had it and I don't have the script in front of me right now. And don't spell penis when you do it. Peninsula bed and cocktails. There we go. So go to Peninsula B and C. Peninsula B for bed, the letter N for and, cocktails, C, cup for cocktails. And right now you're going to get 30% off your stay if you get, I think the email that I got was for 2 or more nights. So, I mean, do the math. Schedule yourself for 3 nights. You get 2. You're only paying for 2. You get 1 for free. And and tell them Jörg sent you. Go ask for Kayla. That's who I've been talking to. And I've seen this place. I'll put the link to the website now that I found it in the show notes, available at yergs.com. But I've seen this place online, and I've stayed there. I've eaten there. I've chilled there, and I know what they can do. I know some of the things they've done. I know where that was in the hotel and what it looked like prior. I think they've done an amazing job. I think it looks great. Each room is named after one of your favorite cocktails. And you got to do this. So PeninsulaBNC.com. Schedule your stay. And I know I'm reaching out to people who are not just in the area. That's the point. Come down here and visit. Stay at this place. You'll have an amazing time. Get to, if it were still in season, I know the last game's coming up, but get to a Rays game. Take some transportation over to Raymond James Field and go to a Bucks game, or to Amalie Arena, to the Bolts that start next week, or preseason games, I think, or this week, something like that. I mean, it's that time. Get over here. Visit. The Hurricanes are going away. This should be one of our last ones because we're past the high time. That's all usually August into September. We're at the end of September. So knock on wood, we should be good. Famous last words. But Peninsula Bed and Cocktails, PeninsulaBNC.com. All right, into the first segment. And yeah, I got to remember to test my phones and see what's going on with that now. The first segment for today, you wipe your face before going on camera. Get all pretty and ready. And what happens? Humidity, air conditioning, the eye boogers just grow back quickly. So I'm in this room last night, and there's this one guy who's one of the usual a-holes. How Jonathan, the owner of the room, still likes this guy. Wow. I mean, that dude's got the patient and love of a saint. Well done, Jonathan. But this TC guy used to be a Hillary supporter, used to be a Biden, and now drank the Kool-Aid with the conspiracy theories and is just bat poop. Bat S crazy. I just don't get him. So they were talking about the assassination attempts and other political things where, I don't know, maybe I got a little bit of an amount of knowledge. So I chime in last week, and my buddy Dylan was there. He was on it. I didn't know that. He jumped in to defend me in the first 10 minutes because this TC guy is starstruck by talking to a Secret Service agent. I talked to a lot of them. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But again, a lot of them are good people, and those are the ones I stay in touch with now. So I'm explaining to the group a lot of the different things that I know and saying some of the things that I can say, not saying things that aren't appropriate, whether it's classified, of course. I'm not going to do that. But even because of privileged position, and even would be against Trump, I'm not going to do that because it's not what we do. Dan Bongino is not going to give you that impression because he'll be happy to talk smack about the Obamas and Biden, even though he's not. Apparently, that whole side of the political spectrum has no idea that Biden's time is limited. Essentially, he kind of sort of is already a lame duck president because he's not coming back, and he could. But they can't complain about Kamala Harris because, well, they're kind of afraid of her. So to boost their own ego, they keep bitching about Joe Biden, who I think was going to win anyway. But anyway. So last night, TC's being his usual a-hole self. And this guy named Grant, I'm listening. I know And I look at his profile pic, and it's a photo of the guy who I think it is, and that doesn't mean anything yet at all. So I'm listening to him, and I'm like, and I'm gonna put this out there. The majority of the people in a lot of these rooms are black, and 9 times out of 10, you can tell an accent or verbiage of somebody who is quote unquote from the hood, where it's just we're as much as we're the same, we're different, and you can tell it. You can tell I'm not a black dude. You don't have to use the video where we're at to see that I'm as white as a ghost, as pale as my son's white underwear. I don't wear underwear anymore. I'm retired. And I love some of these people that are on that. We'll talk about one. I've always got to look this guy's name up, though. God, it's so annoying. The guy I actually want to get to know. Ugh. We're talking on LinkedIn. Durand. This guy, Durand, wow. I met him over the weekend, too. And we'll talk about him in a second. But this Grant guy is like sounding like the Grant that I had another business opportunity with about a year or two ago. I remember it was here in Tampa because it was in the studio. It was part of the 3.0 version when this desk was against the green wall behind me. And we're about to start 5.0 if we live through Helene. But I was supposed to, it was one of those things where you pay $50 or whatever to get the opportunity. Pretty busy. Nobody knows. Let's be real about it. People in that niche know who they are, and they will be that person, so they kiss the person's ass. That's it. This Grant guy could walk down the street and nobody would have the first clue who he is, and even fewer people would care. But I'm paying to give a pitch to this guy, and one of his henchmen hears my pitch and says, "Yeah, okay, all right, you'll get your 15 minutes with Grant." And I get moved from one virtual room to another. And I'm paying attention to the list because if they call your name and you're in the bathroom, you're screwed. You're done. So I was paying attention to the list and knowing everybody who went before me. So now when we get into this next stage room, all those people are being called. I could see some of the people that were on this manual list who were after me. They're now being called. And long story short, because this is a previous, like I said, this is about a year or so ago, I'm not going to be part of that equation. So I'm not getting my 15 minutes with this Grant guy. Just say that in the first one. If you have any questions, if I didn't present well, if it's just not your thing, say it in the first one. Let me go. I'm cool. Thank you for your time. Keep the $50. You being the billionaire you say you are, apparently need it. Off you go. But no, they sit me in this room number 2 till I find your figure out. It ain't going to happen. And if it is going to happen, I ain't waiting another hour to then be questionable and still get shot down anyway. Yeah, I picked up by myself and we're monetizing. No, it's obviously not as fast as what I would have had they been brought on board. But hey, it's still all mine. Mastiff.Media, which you see on that mic right there, is mine. And everybody's loving what I'm doing. So if you would have given me that 15 minutes and listened, maybe you'd be loving it too. Instead of getting shot down in some room where, long story short with Grant, and I want to wrap it up and get into the next segment anyway. No, last night was not the first time I've had a bad experience with this Grant guy. And so it was just another opportunity to lose even more respect for him. I'm going to reach out to Jonathan and say, look, I got better things to do with my time. I think he does a great job trying to moderate things. He keeps it fair. He keeps it respectable, except when I, called Grant out for saying that, for whatever reason, I forget exactly what it was, but long story short, he said I couldn't get any pussy. Now, I'm not talking about a cat, and so excuse my language, but I went ballistic because I'm gay. And the guy that we learned through this conversation that he's supporting, Donald Trump, his administration investigated me twice in the 4 short years of his term for being gay. A completely illegal investigation both times. So I went off. I got muted multiple times, even sent to the audience. It's how you get calmed, how Jonathan, and I was even one of the co-hosts. So there were people that I was muting who were, because everybody just thinks they're more important than everybody else. And being one of those actually remotely a little bit important people, I got more things to do. But I still love the app. I still love what they're doing. I still love when people take a mousetrap and build a better one. Whether it's needed or just is an opportunity to make something better. That's what I'm doing with Mastiff.Media. And so I want to help this application, this platform, but they got to call me back. This Nelson guy, his whole team has not called me back for, what did we do the math? 3 months, almost 3 months, if not 3 months. Round down, give them benefit of it. It's not going to take me 2 months to call you back. Ask Durand, who I met in a room that was much more civil over the weekend. And he's talking about some business concepts without getting too far into weeds. He's talking about some business concepts, and I'm just like, wow, this guy has done some things. This guy's been around the block. He's no dummy. Turns out, was finished with high school at 17. That's it. He hadn't been to college, and he's a computer engineer. He owns a tech company. Who the hell owns a tech company without going to college? Steve Jobs. The other guy, the Microsoft guy. The guy with the bigger business than Steve Jobs. Why can't I think of his name? Bill Gates. Wow. Whew. Oh. This camera's a little close. I'm seeing some wrinkles that weren't there last week. So anyway, Durand is brilliant. If you can ever find somebody who, however they get the book smart education, that's amazing. Great. But if you can find somebody that is both book and street smart, put handcuffs on that person, male or female, chain them to the door of your house, and do not let go. That's Durand. And that's who I want to hang out. That's who I want to hang out with. I'm going to pay him at first because friends are friends, family's family, and business is business. But he even said that, we're going to work together so much, it's not going to be about that anymore. Hey, can you do this for me? Yeah. And we both, he gave 2 things that really struck home in our, we had a one-on-one last night before all this other drama. And he gave 2 things that really hit me in the balls. One was when he said, about us eventually not worrying much about paying each other for services, because it's, what we do. We help each other more than, because it's become a friendship and a personal thing. And boom, in the very second, not only did I have the vision of one of the quotes, like the one we're going to talk about in a minute, but that actual quote, that actual photo from Marcus Lemonis from the TV show The Prophet. He's got another one now. The Prophet's no longer on, but I came across this guy from his show on MSNBC called The Prophet. And his quote that has affected me many times in life, to include last night: don't think that business isn't sometimes personal. So yeah, friends are friends, family's family, and business is business, but sometimes they do cross over. And it was there, it appeared on my desktop, on the one monitor, in the moment that Durand made that statement. And so I interrupted, I cut him off. I said, dude, you've got to see this. And I explained to him what I do with these quotes. I got a file on my desktop. They rotate through the virtual desktops, and I also use it on my show, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, oh, I love that guy. The other thing was an example I use in life. Essentially, his specifics were slightly different. He wants to develop a friend in me and others who, when he's in the hospital, we'll do what we got to do to come see him in the hospital. My similar saying that I got from my dad, and I think excuse me. God, I hate the fact that this just shows up. At least before, I used to know I was about to cough. Sorry about that, gang. I think a guy named Mark Lucas, a guy that my dad met early in adult life, got him into hockey, got us into hockey. And the statement there, the saying there is, you know who your friends are, because when the bench is clear, they're the ones coming over the boards with you. Or when you're in the hospital and you need somebody to visit, not just transactional, hey, I need something from you, here's $1,000. They'll come see you in the hospital. That's who I want to hang with. Not people like Grant or TC or this Scott guy that was a bandwagon jumper. I'm going to hang with Durand. That's it. In the short minutes, we got about 20 minutes left. It's 11:40 at 99.1 WDJY. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the weather. And we're literally going to talk about the weather because today we need to. And what's going to happen with the Mastiff.Media schedule on Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, and anywhere else, particularly with Up to Middle. And then we're going to get into morning motivation. And we'll leave you with that. And like I said, today is Hank Aaron. 99.1 WDJY, Mastiff Media. We'll be back after this. Oh, I need something. Damn it. I didn't even see this coming. Son of a bitch. Oh, I need a producer. All right. We'll be back after this.
From iHeart Podcasts.
What in the hell is going on in here?
Everyone has their limits.
I'd never confronted a situation like this.
The numbers were being inflated and lied about and conflated.
I just thought it was just a really terrible, immoral thing for him to do.
A line they won't cross.
I was stunned, and I just said to him, no.
We're killing people. What exactly are we doing here?
I remember him saying, in this 007 evil villain kind of way, this is the beginning of a process.
You may never have to face that decision. When you find yourself at that line,
Thoughts racing, hearts racing, emotions are all over the place.
They could be harassed, they could be imprisoned, they could be killed.
Somebody needs to just for once, give everybody the whole truth.
I'm like, this is evil.
And the only person who can sound the alarm is you.
She folded it up, put it in her pantyhose, and walked out of the building.
Yeah, I really am the world's dumbest criminal.
These are the whistleblowers.
I wasn't just going to sit silently by.
I was told you take your questioning black self and get it on up out of my facility because you're trouble.
The message is, if you are disloyal, if you speak out, you will pay.
This is what it's like when the president decides he wants to destroy you.
Bad things are going to happen to him. You're anti-American. You are a disgrace to our country. He should be prosecuted.
When power corrupts, conscience is the last line of defense.
Is it ever too late to do the right thing?
We talk about institutions, but they're really about individual people.
The responsibility drops in everybody's lap.
I'm Miles Taylor. The Whistleblowers premieres Thursday, July 13th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Check out Miles Taylor and the Whistleblowers. I've referenced that plenty of times throughout Up the Middle, Both Sides Now, and Yerg's Tonight. He does an excellent job telling the stories of various people who blew the whistle on the Trump administration and their reasons why, personal and professional, as well as the consequences that these people paid to get the truth to the public. Check out the Whistleblowers on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. The July date that he mentioned is from 2023, and season 1 is complete. It's excellent, and it's still very relevant, probably now more than ever. So I certainly recommend that you give it a look. See you again.
All right, gang. Up next, we're going to take a look at the hurricane update real quick because it's looking like I got to go. But that is... Oh, is this actually live? Yeah, there we go. Let's just checking on this real quick.
Palm Harbor.
How about this? If you drive to work and you can wave to Jim Cantori, that is probably not a good idea to go to work. Or not even, probably not a good idea to even be there and say, hey, Jim, I'm going to work. Wait a minute.
Yeah, if you can see Jim Cantori from the front of your office building,
you're in trouble.
Your office window or something like that, then you probably want to talk to your boss and say, hey, I'm not feeling great, want to go home.
I mean, 6 to 8, 9 feet of surge in Port Richey. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think anywhere along the coast there in Pasco County northward should be, well, I mean, there's a mandatory evacuations, right? Up that way. So,
yeah. Oh man, can we get we do this every so often when we're talking about storm coverage. Can we light up the comment section with some heart emojis for our the power crews, the linemen in Florida and beyond? I know that there's going to be linemen, power crews coming in from other states. Can we just give them a quick round of applause, shout out, because they are going to be working some really long days and nights to restore power. Now, man, Florida is like a well-oiled machine when it comes to getting power back up and running, getting internet back up and running. Ask people in Florida, unless your neighborhood has been decimated, if you have a pretty, standard power outage, crews in Florida are just, they're on it because we do this. It's Florida. It's what we do every year. But really, I want to give a shout out to all the crews out there that are going to be working, many of them close to around the clock in the days ahead to get power back up and running for people in Florida and Georgia, I'm sure, and beyond. Hey, JB and Eric from Kim. Tallahassee has municipal utility lineman crews from all over here.
I need to build the second
here ready
story.
to assist the area.
It's great to
build see. I mean, I'm sure they're not in Tallahassee themselves because it's going to be pretty dangerous there, but they're ready to go.
I'll do it here. Yeah, I want to build a second story over my garage at least, so that when this happens, I don't have to leave. It's going to be concrete block and steel reinforced. It's not going anywhere. We can get to a safe space, have a generator, yada, yada, yada. But now I just can't. Last time I was here for Adalia, and I just can't do that. No, I'm not doing that again. I'm on enough drugs. The 6 to 10 feet through Pasco. So you still see? Yeah, there we go. 5 to 18, 6 to, that's what they've been saying was the 6 to 10 feet. But here's the thing about that 10 feet. That hits at high tide. If we get that much. And, we're in northern Pasco. So, there's that, which makes it even a little worse. But, yeah, I just don't need to be here for that 2 days. We can get a hotel. We can. Yeah, so there's that segment. As far as Mastiff.Media goes, I don't know what I'll be able to do with this show. And that is also dependent upon how much damage there is and whatever else with regards to, water damage. We're going to do the prep we got to do to get this above any certain level. But it's all about timing. A hurricane is a severe low pressure system which rotates counterclockwise. When we're on the Gulf Coast, then the lower part of that clock, where it's going left to right, in other words, from the 8 o'clock position to the 7 o'clock to the 6 o'clock to the 5 and the 4 o'clock, that's what pushes water inland. That's us. I'm in a suburban area of Tampa, right on the water, which is where I love being. But for the 1 or 2, 3 days a year like this. So, and with anxiety and PTSD, you don't need triggers like that. So, the other thing about it is the tides. This is an area where low tide and high tide is oftentimes a 4 or 5 foot difference. When Adalia hit us, thank the baby Jesus, it was at low tide. And by the time high tide came around, the storm had moved so that we were actually in a tail portion that was essentially sucking water out. By the time we had high tide later that day, the next high tide later that day. So we got lucky. That same thing could happen again. We might get at low tide. And I haven't checked the tide schedule. I've been meaning to, but it's not like it's the only thing I have on my to-do list. Here we go. Let's see. It's still August. Oh no, that's September. And if I get one more damn political text message, especially in the middle of stuff like this, I got somebody's telling me to get out. That's my mom. Yeah, I got to check the tide schedule for Thursday. High tide is at 7:04 a.m. 10:23 p.m. So actually, we might we might be lucking out again. God damn it. Well, I mean, I'm not going to roll those dice. Sorry. I did it once and kind of sort of won. I'm going to go get more sandbags today. I'm going to get the tape, and that's it. We're going to tape up, and because I mean, once you've done that, there's nothing else you can do. It's over. You've prepped. You've done what you can. You get things, expensive throw rugs off the floor, like one that's in the bar room. Computer equipment unplugged and jacked up on tables, and a table like this that rises, lift that puppy up. And that's it. And you hope for the best, but you also have to plan for the worst. And that means I've learned not being here when you have a 1-story house. Now I get that second story added. I get a safe space to go to. Way different. But I don't have that right now. Mastiff.Media and Yerg's Radio is going to be on schedule. My show, maybe not. That's still Thursday and Friday at 11 a.m. Stay posted to Yerg's Radio because that's not run from here. And so, we'll still be able to operate that remotely from wherever. Glenn Jackson, Sportcat Jackson, will be doing his show later tonight. I don't know. I think he's a Thursday show now for like Big Brother. And he's still got the Friday show. And then Saturday. Dude's got he's the nighttime guy. Yeah, so check him out. He is at tonight at 9, tomorrow at 9 or 10, and then Friday at 9, and Saturday at 9. So he'll be here. Anything for us, any emails, any questions, hit us up at news, NEWZ, at yerg.com, yergz.com. Show notes available at yergs.com. And I think the anxiety's coming in already. Awesome. But yeah, so I'm about to get into the last segment here. Oh, that's not it. Sorry. I'm arranging things. That's not that. Do it there. There we go. So news, NEWZ at yergz.com. This is a list. This is one of the things that pops up. What's on your screen right now. Here's 10 quotes by famous celebrities to live by. And for today, number 3, the only thing that feels better than winning is winning when nobody thought you could. I was supposed to have that 15 minutes with Grant Cardone. Well, there's the last name. If you haven't figured it out or used Google by now, shame on you. I didn't get that for whatever reason. And his level by which he essentially helped me get the hint was not how I'll ever roll. We did another one from Brian Lewis of the National Hockey League. You want to impress me? Be honest with me, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to blow smoke and sunshine up your rear end. I'm not going to pee in your ear and tell you it's raining. If I don't like your project, I'll tell you I don't like your project. I don't want to be a part of it. Or if you didn't do something for me the way I wanted, I'm going to tell you. Because you want to know that you finished it right. And we'll make it right. But, I mean, this Hank Aaron's winning when nobody thought you could, it's also very similar to another is Frank Sinatra, who says the best revenge is massive success. I don't know that the successes I've had here with this are massive yet. They're headed that way. And just that I'm still going, just that I am now monetizing, just that I am now having businesses like Peninsula Bed and Cocktails coming to me and saying, yeah, you know what? I would like to reconsider. Because they said no. I offered them a deal where I would do, and today's was totally ad libbed and was crappy, but I would do live commercials on the show, which is especially good for Friday, because not only do they get that in front of 26 to 27,000 people in Atlanta, but also another 30,000 that we're starting out with in the Tampa Bay region. So almost 60,000 people are hearing about their new hotel for free. Hello, why do you say no to that? And when they, learned all the particulars of it, all you got to do is say, tell me how I did. Tell me what else you would expect from it. Tell me what else, you would want. And how can we make this work in the future for when you are paying money for it? That's how I roll. I don't tell people they can't do something. What was the other one? Something about those who do it are telling you how you can do it versus those who don't are telling you how you can't. Yeah, don't put that way up there because you need to be able to see it. Show notes at yergz.com, YERGZ.com. Turn that off so we can see it. I guess we can turn the whole thing off because we're done. Hit me up, news, NEWZ at yergz, YERGZ.com. I am going to try and be back tomorrow. Also, Mastiff.Media, by the way. I put the www there for those looking at it on the screen. A lot of people don't know that .media is a website ending. So Mastiff, www.mastiff.media. That is the parent company site. Right now, it's just kind of a placeholder, kind of like a link tree type of thing. That way, you can see where everything's at, all the shows, everything. And there'll be more with that soon enough. But that's what I needed up more immediately because, wow, Mix just ended. How did that happen? Well, anyway, we're about to lose 99.1. If we're back with 99.1, guys, we had some technical issues here in the doghouse. So sorry if we lost you. But I was just about to play out and nothing. There wasn't even in there. Oh, God. All right, gang. 99.1 WDJY. And apparently, yeah, didn't come back to being live. So I don't know what happened. But yeah, we can't go live on 99.1 now because it's past the time for our show. So I can't say what So we're back connected on Rainbow Radio. But if you're listening on Rainbow or Yergz Radio, and I'll have to put this out tomorrow on 99. The studio here has been really crazy already. We just lost Mix, the one thing we transmit from. I couldn't get during a sound check, I couldn't get other stations in. America One Radio didn't broadcast, so I got to reach out to them. Yeah, here comes Helene. That's all I can say. So I'm going to go get ready for it. You have a great day. Have a safe day. Somebody else is calling now. You can go to voicemail. If you're on the coast where I'm at, get inland before this gets stupid. Don't be stupid. That's it, gang. You've been up the middle. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. All right. Peace.